we have this will to live. We have this will to power. What causes that? We give meaning to our lives. We create meaning. There's that sense that, yes, I'm meaningless and purposeless. And like, who's going to create that for me? Me. I have to. I'm responsible for my existence. I'm responsible for my feelings. I'm responsible for what I do with my life. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mind Muscle Connection. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Tyler Wiebe, and we are going to hit a topic that we circle around quite a bit, but it is something like you are nothing. You don't matter. You are this minuscule, tiny little blob of carbon on the speck of dust in the universe. You're going to live and die in a generation. Nobody's going to remember who you are. Your life is just so utterly meaningless that some people would say, why even bother going on with life? And I want to, Tyler, set this up because I'm going to come at this topic hard because I think so many people misunderstand it so greatly. What I just described as nihilism, or what was the bedrock question of existentialism, and some people stop the story there. For example, one of the most current famous people who rails against that is your countryman, Jordan Peterson. And he just shrieks and shrieks and shrieks about the horrible neoliberal left. They're all nihilists and what he fails to complete is the thought that, yes, Kant, Kierkegaard, Schopenhauer, later Camus, all of those guys said, if we are going to stop childishly believing in this sugar daddy in the sky concept of a God who, with these 5,000-year-old, nomadic, illiterate tropes, is controlling our lives and gives us all of our meaning, we're just little puppets on a string, then we've got to have an answer. And Nietzsche famously said, God is dead and we have killed him. Now, what are we going to do? That famous question, if you're going to take away the opiate from the people, you damn well better be ready to replace it with something. And so here's the finish to that unfinished statement. Jordan Peterson debating Sam Harris, I believe in Vancouver, actually. Maybe this one was in Ireland. Because at that time, Jordan was very, very cryptic about what he believed. And Sam Harris said, like, do you believe in God or not? This, true God of the Bible concept. And Peterson said, it would take me 40 hours to answer that question. And Sam Harris said, no, it'd take one word, yes or no. Yeah. And so Sam Harris finally said, okay, so I get it. You don't believe in this God, but you think people are so goddamn stupid that if they don't believe in this God, they won't know how to act, and they won't follow rules. There'll be just rape, murder, pillaging. And Peterson said, yeah, exactly. And what bloody hell is wrong with that? That was more Sean Connery, I think, than Peterson. But again, they end it there. The existentialists said, if that's true, we obviously still have this will to live. Philosophers have said, we have this will to power, Nietzsche said. What causes that? And the answer is, we give meaning to our lives. We create meaning. So there's that sense that, yes, I'm meaningless and purposeless, and like, who's going to create that for me? Me. I have to. I'm responsible for my existence. I'm responsible for my feelings. I'm responsible for what I do with my life. And I think that is the biggest fissure between those two sides, is that nobody ever completes that sentence. Because to your point, Tyler, in wanting to discuss this, like, I am nothing. Do I matter? Should I matter? Where is my ego in all of this? It's up to us to decide. So with my little blathering introduction there, I'm very interested to see why you thought this topic could be hit on deeper than we have so far.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have, I think, pretty similar viewpoints and things that we're gonna be talking about. This kind of like popped into my mind a bit more last week. The last couple weeks, there's been no one super close to me, but relatively close within my world, dying. One, being someone who had lived a full life, to old age, that kind of stuff. And then the other one was a 21-year-old and died of a very rare cancer. For years they did experimental treatments. There was never really a chance, but by the sounds of it, very much extended his life, and they really tried. But he passed away last Wednesday, and he's got a dad and a mom, a brother and a sister. A full family that he's leaving behind only at 21. And so death has been on my mind quite a bit. And I think going through that YouTube series we've you turned on to me, the awakening from the
Meaning
meaningless
crisis.
crisis. Yeah. And it got me thinking more, and just how people talk about fairness, and it's not fair that this 21-year-old died, and it's not fair that his parents have to bury their child. And yes, it is sad, but it got me to thinking that life owes you nothing. You are nothing, because life doesn't care what age you are. It doesn't care what you believe. Death is final, and it will come in a moment's notice. You have no idea. There is, nothing saying that Quinn, my daughter, is going to make it till 5. There's nothing promising that. And I think we like to self delude ourselves that we're special and it's never going to happen to us. And, I'm going to have this amazing life, and this is going to happen, and that's going to happen. And it's like we self delude ourselves so much, with that. It's like you lose out on creating that meaning almost, because there is, it can be cliche, but there is nothing promised. And so I think it's, really taking that view in mind, and finding that meaning in every single little moment, because you have just no idea, when that is going to end, and when that last moment is going to be with, whomever you love. And so that's kind of where I was really coming from, in a very humbling sense of, yeah, I am nothing. There is nothing that promises I'm going to make it another 3 years in my life. Like, I could get a diagnosis next week, terminal cancer, be dead within 6 months. So that's kind of where I was really coming from, and how we mean nothing, but turning it into, like you were saying, right, creating that meaning and having that power to be able to do that. And eliminating that self delusion of, it's never going to happen to me, because it could have, like, it could happen at any point, right? Like, whether you're young, old, take care of yourself, you don't take care of yourself. Yeah, that's the direction I was going to go with it.
Yeah, there is nothing to me more liberating than realizing I am nothing. And let me back up a little bit in my statements, because I was kind of playing two different characters, two different sides. But I want people to understand that I'm okay with anybody believing anything, whatever belief system, worldview that gets you to the next step in your life, perfectly fine. But I will say there are dangers to all of them. Again, that opponent processing, there's always a dynamic tension between extremes. And for me, for example, in my younger life, when I believed in the classic views of God, an omnipotent person who literally had the keys of heaven or hell and was going to send me to one or the other, I was a total asshole, because I felt like I had the right answer, and therefore I had all the security in the world, and I was, quote, a chosen one, and I didn't have to be responsible for my own meaning or behavior or anything. And so once I gave that up, again, it's the most humbling, liberating thing. At the same time, it can be terrifying if you don't work through those thoughts. And I made a post the other day that I've lived something like 19,360 days, and if I live out a normal lifespan, I'm under 10,000. Like, those days are coming.
That scared me a little bit seeing it in that number sense. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, like that's yeah, that
That's
was
how
a little
many
scary.
days you have left.
Yeah.
But here's something that I've always thought. Like when my father passed away, and it was very meaningful to me. It was, it was, it was the hardest death next to my first daughter dying in my hands. So, like you said, your daughter Quinn, you have no guarantees. Yeah, my daughter did not make it to my first birthday. But when my father passed away, somebody who was my hero and symbol of strength and stability, and somebody who would always be there for me, like that was a shattering experience. And I heard, this may sound kind of trite, but I heard Anderson Cooper, the CNN anchor, talking about the fact that he lost his dad at an early age, lost his brother at an early age. Then a year or two ago, he lost his mother. And he said, I'm the only one. Like I'm it now. Like I am the last remaining member of my family. And with his two little sons, he said, I had to process it 55, 56, 57 years old, however old he is. Like I'm the guardian of every family memory. I'm the guardian of everybody else is gone and their lives are lived like a book closed. It's over. And I'm the final link. Whatever is left to be remembered of my family is up to me. And I thought, man, what a profound way to look at that. Like I'm the link to the next future, his two children. And if you want purpose and meaningfulness in your life, look for those kinds of things, the relationships, the legacies, what you do with your life on a daily basis. Um, as I said, it's so liberating to me because even though it puts that responsibility back to me, I get to decide what my life will mean today and forever.
It's kind of funny that you mentioned the Anderson Cooper example and how it's that's the legacy, right? That's the last little bit. Like I had that similar thought like on that Friday night, and it was more so in terms of Quinn. And it's like I should be documenting my life, for her at some point down the road, my thoughts, my feelings, my ups and my downs, and creating, this legacy that, it can be, passed down, can, once I'm gone, 50, 60, 70, 80 years from now, she's going to hopefully still be able to look back on that and, in an essence, still have me in her life, just with how I lived my life, how I was the example, and what I struggled with, and what my understanding of this life was and is, as I go along, climbing up out of the to the sun, right? Of what was Aristotle's myth example, right? And figuring things out and understanding, where my place is, in this life and in this world, and not just being a passive observer, but being an active participant in that. So yeah, that was kind of just my same thought process of, yeah, wow, like that importance and that responsibility is just paramount to, I think, just like I say, being that active participant, in the world and in this life.
Well, a couple things. First of all, as Anderson Cooper was telling the story, he literally started weeping, with just that responsibility. And if you want to do something to document for your daughter and maybe future children, when my first child was born, I started a journal, and I have four journals for my four children. And I mean, going back to 1994, it's your first birthday, it's your second birthday, this happened today, this is like I'm literally writing them letters. And at some point, they're going to read these when I'm gone. And these were letters from their father to them, not just writing about me, writing about my love for them and the memories I shared and have about them. And I'm telling you, like so many times when I have sat down to write in those journals, like I'm literally crying as I'm writing them because, I know someday I won't be there and they will be, and this is what they'll have left.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's an idea for you.
That's exactly where I was gonna try and go with that. And how does this apply to, the sport of bodybuilding and fitness and health? And I think, it's the pure joy of, challenging that physicalness, that mentality of, pushing through a hard prep and, finding joy like within that suffering of, hey, you know what, like I'm alive to be able to do this. I'm alive to, push my body in this way, to push my mind in this way. Does this bring me closer to, reality? Does this, fit with who I am? And so, while it's such a heavy topic that is, discussed more, I think, like we did today, between, life and death and finding that meaning, but you almost kind of have this trickle down effect of, yes, you find more joy in the big things, but you have that joy in those small things of, this might be my last workout ever. I'm going to enjoy this, right? And not to say that it's 100% perfect theory and you're always going to enjoy it and it's always going to be fun just because you think like this. But I think what I'm saying is it can start to change that perspective on how you start to view things. And I think the more that we are shifting that perspective, right, we're getting those neural pathways. Just, I think the more natural joy you are going to find out of those things, even on those, times you don't feel like it, you're still going to at least be able to extract something out of it.
Well, the post that I wrote down the number of days I have left, that was all about movement, and the picture was me climbing, rock climbing, and how that's just such a value of mine is I love movement. And if you don't take care of yourself, if you're not engaged in some kind of physical pursuit, sport, something that challenges yourself, I really, first of all, not being a fan of the concept of dualism, like my thoughts, my brain, my ability to even have any cognition comes because I have a healthy brain. Can't have a healthy brain without a healthy body. And I was just talking to a client of mine, and I said, I look at people like Stephen Breyer, the guy who just retired from the Supreme Court. He's 84 years old, and he is as sharp as he was when he was 30, and he looks so spry and healthy. Anthony Fauci's 80, and the guy won't retire. And again, like he's a runner, he likes to move. And you think, I told this friend of mine, when I turn 60, that's the next big marker for me. I said, I will be less than 150 pounds. And and he's like, wow, really? And I'm like, well, first of all, that's not that far away. Yeah, I'm 5'7". I only have to lose 20
Yeah.
pounds.
Yeah.
But I said the reason I say that is because for that stage of my life, physically, physiologically, it's better for efficiency and lightness and so forth. And so, I'm already thinking that far ahead, just as I always have in my life. What kind of strength do I need? What kind of functionality? What kind of body composition is healthier? And why? Why do I want to do that? And so, yes, for all of our people engaged in health and fitness and sport of any kind, man, it's more than just that. It's more than just that single pursuit of some metric of performance. It is your entire life.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, I grew up playing sports. Like I played sports year round. I moved year round basically from age 2 till about 18. I was almost playing sports year round and always moving. And man, just the benefits from that. And I just convincing people to go find joy in other physical areas than just the gym, I believe is just so important, because some people just may not like being in the gym. And so being able to still find, that activity and that enjoyment out of, your body and what it is capable of doing is massive. Like I've always kind of said, like, what's the point of going to the gym and lifting all these weights if I can't use my body and I don't, go do manual labor or help a friend move or things like that. Like that's kind of what it's here for. I don't want to just lift weights. I want to use that, to, I hate this term, but functional strength, right? Like I want to be able to use what I have and to be able to find joy in that and challenge myself in different physical activities and to see, what I'm capable of doing, because something like that just brings so much joy, to myself. I don't want to be just a bodybuilder. I don't want to be just a power lifter. I want to be, again, to a general term, that athlete of just being able to move, to be healthy, And when I'm 40, 50, yeah, there's going to be aches and pains, but I still want to act like I'm 20. as
Plenty
much
of
as that's maybe pie in the sky.
plenty of aches and pains, I assure you. But
Yeah.
you'll figure out a way.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the ultimate answer. Think of this as that two-sided coin, or that oppositional opponent processing. You are absolutely nothing. You are meaningless. Even if you pass away today, like the day after your funeral, even your closest loved ones, they're going to be picking up the pieces and moving on. You mean nothing. The other side of the coin is you mean fucking everything. Like your life should be everything to you because that's the gift you give to everybody else around you. So again, to have that nihilistic angst, or if you're on the other side of that, to think that those people are stupid, you don't even know what you're opposing if you think that. Somebody who feels like I'm it, then act like it. Like live your best life. Be the best brother, sister, friend, parent that you can be. Because again, there is so much truth in the fact that you are nothing because you are everything. You are everything because you are nothing. All right, Tyler. Again, great topic as always. You picked another good one, and we hope you guys get some value out of this. Let us know. Let us know what topics you want to hear us to delve into, and we'll see you next time in the Mind Muscle Connection.